This video is sponsored by Surfshark, the best VPN on the market. Surfshark is an app or browser extension that allows you to change your location to access websites in other countries and keep you safe from hackers. For example, we here in Ireland can access other countries' Netflix libraries, streaming services such as DAZN in Spain for those all-important Premier League games. Surfshark keeps you safe and private by protecting everything you do online. When your device connects to the internet, all that information is, in a way, blurred out. Surfshark is particularly useful for keeping you safe if you use public Wi-Fi, such as a college or a cafe. Surfshark allows you to use one subscription on unlimited devices, meaning that you can even share an account with friends and family. On top of this, Surfshark offers a 30-day money-back guarantee, so if you don't like it, you can even get your money back. Our sign-up offer gives you Surfshark VPN for just over €2 per month and up to 4 months free. Why not scan the QR code on screen or use the link in the description to take advantage of this offer. What is up, my friends? We are live and you are very welcome along to a brand new week here on Anfield Agenda. It is Monday's late night agenda, and as always, pleasure to be here with you. First comment I seen in the chat was Michael asking if I'm feeling a bit better. I am, thank you, mate. Yeah, throat feels back to normal today, thankfully. So, yeah, really happy I woke up feeling a bit better today on that one. But I really do appreciate you looking out for me, my friend. So, yeah, how are we all doing? There's loads to get through today, of course. I hope you didn't mind our tongue-in-cheek thumbnail earlier on. It was obviously just a little bit of fun to brighten up a boring Monday. So let's start off with the super chat that came in before we'd even started. Appreciate this one. David said, "Hey Craig, hope you're well. This is exciting news. Love waking up to this type of news. I know it's early days, but thank you for all your work. Keep it up, bro." It's very early days, but it is also exciting as well, like you've said, to see Lewis Steele and a few others speak about the fact that Liverpool, well, they're still pursuing Alexander Isak, although they know it's going to be a difficult deal. So we're going to talk about that tonight, and we're going to ask, is it really feasible for Liverpool to prize away Alexander Isak with the £120 million price tag on his head? It's not going away. That's all that we can keep saying, ladies and gentlemen. These stories are not going away. And yeah, look, every time I feel like I don't want to start falling into the trap of, falling for these stories, because look, they are from very credible journalists, but I don't know, something about this one just feels a little bit too much in the window where we've just agreed to spend £116 million for Florian Wirtz, and 190 million spent pretty much so far by the time we get Kerkez, Frimpong and Wirtz all completed. It feels a little bit, I don't know, a little bit aspirational, is that the right word? To think that potentially Isak could be possible. But he did say, Romano, Isak has been Liverpool's dream target since day one, but it remains complicated. On top of that, of course, we have the bit from Lewis Steele that said Newcastle don't want to sell Isak for cheap. Not that they don't want to sell Isak, by the way. They don't want to sell him for cheap. It'll have to be a ballpark figure of about 130 to 140 million pound. Are Liverpool realistically going to pay that in the summer where they signed Florian Wirtz? Hard to see, but I wouldn't completely rule it out. So, I don't know. It's, look, can you imagine heads exploding if it did happen? If Liverpool sold Darwin Nunez and somehow managed to prize Alexander Isak away from Newcastle with Florian Wirtz, with Jeremy Frimpong, with Milos, Kerkez, and potentially a centre-back in there as well. I mean, a boy can dream, but I don't know. I'll leave you guys sort of how realistic it is. Before I started the stream about 30 minutes ago or so, maybe a bit longer, I did post into the Anfield Agenda WhatsApp channel to run a poll and ask, do you think Liverpool signed Alexander Isak this summer? We gave 3 options, yes, no, or unsure. Between yes and unsure, it's pretty much 50-50, but most realistic people in there say no. But if you put the other 2 together, yes and unsure, people don't think it's out of the realms of possibility, but I don't know. It just feels a bit greedy, doesn't it, as Liz said. How are we? You'll never walk alone. 986, is that? Hey Craig, I usually can't interact very much because I'm usually on the way to work. Just wanted to show my appreciation for all that you do. You're so kind, mate. Thank you. You never have to show me the appreciation. I appreciate you just watching. That's more than enough for me. But I do appreciate the love, my man. Thank you. Much appreciated, and I hope you have a wonderful week. Look like the weather's going to be good anyway, so that's a good jumping off point for the week ahead. Right, I still think we go for Duran on loan, said Frank Boyle. It's an interesting one. Like I said, I'd be more than happy for that. But what we do know is we're going to see Florian Wirtz medical take place this week. That much we know for certain. So many people have been posting about this one today. Again, let's go through this chronologically together so we can figure out exactly where we're at with it. But let's start with... Well, actually, do you know what? Let's start off with Milos Kerkez, if you don't mind, because Nicolo Shearer posted this earlier on to say, exclusive, done deal and confirmed. Milos Kerkez to Liverpool from Bournemouth, contract until 2030. The left-back has turned down 3 other bids to join Liverpool. Now, I've not seen that confirmed anywhere else yet. I believe, obviously, those negotiations are underway between Liverpool and Bournemouth. We do think it will happen this week, but for me, I'm going to need a Romano or an Ornstein or a Joyce or somebody to give us the absolute yes that it's been agreed. But it's certainly moving in the right direction. Sticking with the situation with Florian Wirtz, again, a whole array of journalists speaking about this one. Paul Gorst of the Echo said Wirtz's medical examinations will be performed this week before he returns to his summer holidays, and personal terms won't be an issue. Said it's unclear at this stage where and when his medical will take place, but... well, other journalists have come in to say where they think and when they think it will take place. Bild, as an example, say Florian Wirtz transfer to Liverpool will officially take place at the end of the week. Then we had David Ornstein, who said Florian Wirtz expected to arrive in the UK later this week. Current plan for medical Friday before completing transfer from Bayer Leverkusen to Liverpool. Fee £100 million guaranteed and up to £16 million in add-ons, and a 5-year contract proposed. So that's kind of where we're at with these type of deals. Again, it's great news to see they're going to be completed this week. The Milos Kerkez thing has been one of the worst kept secrets in football over the last couple of months. It's been very clear that he's coming to Liverpool. Want to also, while we're starting off really quickly, say thank you to our sponsor, Surfshark. I always play the video now at the start of the streams, making it easier for people coming in as well. But we wouldn't be able to do what we do without their support. So from all of us at Anfield Agenda, thank you to our friends at Surfshark for their continued support. And of course, if you'd like to use Surfshark, you've seen the video. If you want any more information, scan that QR code there on the screen. Right, what have we got on the chat? Let's see. I think... if you test the waters for Isak, I think his head could turn. It's interesting because I remember reading a piece, and forgive me, I can't remember where exactly it was from, but it was a few weeks back, and it was basically somebody intimating that he would do what Wirtz has done, which is make it very clear from the get-go that there's only one place he wants to be, and that's Liverpool. Now, I don't remember who said it, like I've said, but I think it is going to take something like that. And I don't know how much Liverpool are willing to push in that regard with Newcastle, but I guess we're going to wait and see. Have we seen the stuff, by the way, from the CEO of Borussia Dortmund? This is the most beta boy behaviour I've seen from a football CEO. And honestly, if I was a Dortmund fan, I'd ask for this lad's head at this point to be sacked, because it's shocking. So he was speaking about the situation with Florian Wirtz and the fact that he was coming to Liverpool. And he said, it's a real shame that a player like Florian Wirtz is leaving the Bundesliga. Now, that, no problem with. Can absolutely understand them thinking a world-class talent leaving that league is not great for the league. But the next sentence really confused me. I wouldn't have had a problem at all if he had gone to FC Bayern. That would have been better for the Bundesliga. I mean, if that doesn't sum up the entire Bundesliga in one sentence, I don't know what does. We'd rather he went to Bayern, who are apparently going to just continue winning everything anyway, rather than see him leave the league. Now imagine this was Liverpool CEO talking about, I don't know, let's pick a star, Haaland. And let's say, I wouldn't have minded if Haaland went to a rival here in the Prem. I'd rather he stayed with a rival here in the Prem than left the league. Can you imagine that? No. If something strengthens a rival, that is not good news for your club in any way, shape or form. It's the most beta behaviour ever. I honestly had to double check it was real when I first seen it. If he was my CEO of the club I supported, I'd be furious with that level of fucking bowing down to Hollywood FC or FC Bayern, you might as well just say, what's the point of that? You know, if you're just going to be competing against a club that you feel inferior to anyway, you want your CEO to be out there trying to build your club up to be competitive with Bayern Munich, not just roll over for them. That's why Bayern get a basic free run in Germany. The rest have losers mentality, said Rory White. It is shocking, isn't it? It's absolutely shocking. Like, it just speaks to having no desire to actually win anything there. You know, what's the point in rolling over for Bayern? You should be praying that players don't go to Bayern. And you should be trying to sort them out yourselves rather than be this kind of, I don't know, feeder club in Germany. It's so weird. I don't know if there's any German football fans in the chat who'd love to have their say on it, but for me, it's a strange one. The Dortmund CEO has had a nightmare with that one. He very much has. It's shocking, isn't it? Like, it really is so tin pot. David said bitter sour grapes. Well, I don't think it's sour grapes from him because he's Dortmund's CEO. So they were never involved in this scenario anyway. He was never going to Dortmund. So for him to say, I'd rather he went to FC Bayern, it just feels weird. It's like saying, yeah, we know we're not going to beat Bayern, but, you know. Heard the new Wirtz song. Which one? I've seen a few variations. I mean, there was one the lads 442 Tunes put into one of their videos. But I've no doubt that the Cop-Whites will come up with something epic, because they always come up with some good songs. But no, I haven't heard a specific one. But if you do have a place for me to listen to or find it, let me know. Steve Aldersley said, most interesting transfer window in living memory. It really is. Like, this transfer window is crazy. And by the way, Malik Fofana, a player that obviously Liverpool have been linked with before from Lyon. David Ornstein said, Chelsea make a verbal inquiry to Lyon regarding Malik Fofana. 20-year-old winger, among multiple options Chelsea are considering amid Jadon Sancho exit. Nothing advanced for Belgium international, but discussions continue. They're going full Barcelona here. You know, 1 minute they want Jamie Gittins, and it was only Gittins. Now, again, they're going for player A, B, C, and D. And the situation with Luis Diaz in Barcelona looks like he could be left hung out to dry by Barca, by the way, as they really are moving towards Nico Williams, despite flirting with Luis Diaz for ages. And I've said this before, I'd hate to be a player Barcelona were interested in, because this is the way they treat people. Oh, we only want you, mate. It's only you. It's always been you. We love you. And then you're reading a day later that they're looking at somebody else and trying to get a deal to bring in Nico Williams from Bilbao. Shocking. So, yeah, I hope Diaz paying attention to that, because he looks like he's getting strung along there a bit by Barcelona. Where are we at? Just come on tonight. What did I miss? Said Paul. Not too much yet, mate. We haven't really got stuck into the crux of the news yet. Let's talk about Robbo for a minute, because I mentioned this to you guys yesterday or the day before, and it's starting to get a bit of pace now in the media. So it looks like Atletico Madrid want to get Andy Robertson either for free or basically for free. Lots of talk today that they're going to offer about €5 million, which is about £4.4 million, for a player that I think Liverpool value at about £20 million. So let's wait and see what happens with this one. Paul Joyce said, Atletico Madrid have placed Lucas Digne on a list of alternative options should their interest in Andrew Robertson reach a dead end. Robertson has been identified by the La Liga side as a summer transfer target, with the future of the Scotland captain clouded by the anticipated arrival of Milos Kerkez. On top of that, Paul Joyce said there have been suggestions that Atletico Madrid are looking to pay as little as €5 million for Andy Robertson should matters progress. Now, I'd be very surprised if Liverpool entertained any conversation for Robertson at €5 million. I'm sure they're willing to be somewhat flexible on it if it's something Robbo wants, but yeah, you're not getting him for €5 million or £4.4 million. That's just way too low. You'd have to at least be doubling that to get into the realms of any type of possibilities, in my opinion, anyway. So if we heard from Caicedo's agent, have we seen this? LFC Transfer Room posted this one and said, This was about the situation with Liverpool and Moise Caicedo. He said, "It was a tough situation. We gave our word to Chelsea, but Liverpool came out of nowhere with a more stable project than Chelsea's long-term project. And at the time, both Moise and myself, we were dizzy and confused and unsure. Yet they still rushed into making the wrong decision." So, weird one, that one, but Caicedo is a Chelsea player. It was a British transfer record of £115 million, but looks as if they know they made the wrong decision. Let's be honest, they know they have. Virginia Anthony said, "Barcelona plays such head games. They play up Diaz to be who they want, and then make Nico Williams perk up his ears." It's a joke, and they're always at it. And they've been doing this with Diaz for years. Diaz has been flirted with by Barcelona for a really long time, and never once have they come forward and tried to make it happen. And that's why I've always said, I don't want this to go sour for Diaz. I don't want it to become toxic, because he doesn't deserve that. But, you know, it's going to get to the point where Liverpool are going to need to hear from him whether he has any intention to leave the club or whether he wants to stay. So let's wait and see. Fabrizio Romano has also said that Hugo Ekitike is a concrete option for Liverpool. So how many concrete options do we have then? Him, Isak. It seems as if there's a bit of a guessing game going on amongst the journalists to who the striker is we're actually going to go for. Ekitike, as I mentioned a few times, has rebuffed interest, or at least paused interest, from Manchester United and Chelsea as he waits to see what's happening. Neil said, "Hey Craig, just seen the update with Romano regarding Ekitike. Don't forget about Liverpool in their interest in him. If Nunez sold, he will be the target." So he's just tripped himself up there then, Neil, and let me tell you why. So if Romano said that, he also just said this: Isak has been Liverpool's dream target since day one, but it remains complicated. So which one is it then? Is the dream target Isak, or is the number one target Ekitike? Romano, I think, needs to be a bit more committal in what he's saying here. John, you're so kind, my man. Appreciate you. Said, "Love the work, Craig. Genuinely amazing. Thank you, sir. By the way, will you eat broccoli again if we sign Isak this summer?" No broccoli this summer, bro. I did promise 3 pieces of broccoli if we win the Champions League next year, and I'm already worrying about it. So yeah, although to be fair, if we win the Champions League the year after winning the Premier League, I think I could swallow 3 pieces of broccoli just about. Camel Deep, lovely to see you, my friend. How are you? Said, "Hope all is good. Seems an unreal summer. Exciting." Yeah, it's brilliant, mate. It's just brilliant. This is all I've ever wanted, by the way, from the owners and as a club, is for us to be acting like we mean business. And I'm extremely happy, Camel Deep, at the minute, bro. I'm extremely happy. Very much looking forward to seeing how the rest of the summer pans out. But, you know, if there's a Liverpool fan out there that isn't happy with the start of this window, I don't know if they're ever going to be happy. You know, do I ever believe really that Florian Wirtz was going to join Liverpool? No. Until this summer unfolded, I always thought it was a pipe dream, but it's just about to become a reality, Camel Deep. And as you said, bro, a great summer ahead. Right, Luke, LFC O'Neill. How are we, Luke? Said, "Apparently the club have told a certain striker to be patient until we've sorted Wirtz and Kerkez deals." So would that certain striker be Ekitike? Because we know he's available. So that's one thing that Liverpool can look at the Hugo Ekitike situation and know is €100 million is the asking price. So at least there is an asking price. So they know that much anyway. By the way, I hope you enjoyed the fun with the thumbnail earlier on, because me and Connor debated back and forth about whether we'd go with it. Most people in the comments, by the way, took it with a pinch of salt that it was meant with, or the tongue-in-cheek nature of it. But obviously with Wirtz's middle name being Richard, it was low-hanging fruit, and the child in me couldn't say no. He came from Kuzen. He's on a record fee. Said 9 to Bayern Madrid and Man City. He's our magician, back on our perch. His name is Florian. Florian Fuken Wirtz. I need to know the tune, but that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Yeah, we'll look forward to hearing that one belt out. Anything with the word Fuken in it is good with me, my man. But thank you, Jory. Appreciate you. Appreciate the super chat as well, my friend. Oh, the melody is Push It, Salt and Pepper. Oh, no. Now we're going down the right road. Push it. Push it. Deadly. I'm going to have to have a few goes at that one before we do it on the stream. But yes, anything Salt and Pepper I can get behind. So yeah, let's go with that one. I'm going to have to practice that a few times now, my man. So thank you. Appreciate you. You can freeze dry broccoli and put it in special brownies, said Liz. There you go. I'd rather not ruin the special brownies, Liz. But if we're talking about freeze drying something else, I'm all ears. Made it. It's gone viral on TikTok. You made it. Oh, well done, my man. If you made that, brilliant. Fair play. I'll definitely be tuning in on TikTok. And yeah, well in. Happy to give the credit as well if that's the one. You've already got the salt and pepper bit stuck in my head now, and I can hear the nice. That's class. Didn't take too long, that one, did it? For the song to be made. We like that, mate. Well played. I'll definitely be having a little look on TikTok later on. Right, so let's get back into the news. Right, let's ask. I'm going to ask the same poll in here that I asked on the Anfield Agenda WhatsApp channel around the situation with Alexander Isak. So bear with me 1 sec while my fat fingers try to do some typing here. So, question's going to be, will Liverpool get Isak this summer? Okay. One more option. Okay. So, will Liverpool get Isak this summer? Yes, no, or unsure. Same options that we had on the WhatsApp channel. And we'll see who's feeling brave, who's feeling promiscuous, or who's feeling like, yeah, there's just no chance. I only know Push It because of B99. There you go. I'm old enough to remember Push It when it was out in the chart, so. Caicedo looking a 50 mil move, said Tanya O'Connor. He's definitely having some regrets about not coming to the Reds. Let's be honest about it. He definitely is. And who could blame him? They made the wrong move. We said it at the time. Say it again. He definitely should have made the move to Liverpool. Right, again, we've Anfield Sector saying Ekitike is a concrete option for Liverpool and crediting Fabrizio Romano on that one. We also had this, by the way, from Fabrizio Romano today, saying Federico Chiesa is leaving and Italy is the priority. Now, excuse me for being a little bit silly here, but how can anybody say they're leaving until they know that we have a buyer with a valuation that Liverpool are going to accept? By the way, I'm open to the idea of Federico Chiesa leaving, but until somebody puts their money on the table and comes up with an offer that works for Liverpool and, of course, Chiesa and his family, we'll have to wait and see. I remember Arne Slot saying specifically he will be here next season. Definitely, yes. This is why I keep saying to everyone, you can't take everything football clubs say as 100% gospel because sometimes they're just playing the game. Zach said, has a club ever made 2 signings over 100 million in the same window before? Don't know, mate, to be honest with you. Trying to think back to Barcelona. When did they bring Dembele in? That was a different window to the Coutinho one, obviously, wasn't it? It must have been, yeah. I don't know. That's the honest answer, mate. David said, I think FSG heard you with the where's the money, John. Love it, get in there. Look, it was always meant as a bit of tongue-in-cheek, but some people got very offended by me asking where the money was. I never said, where's the money from the point of view, I think money's gone missing, but I have a theory. No, that's not fair. Me and Connor have a theory. So the Red Sox fans at the minute, and again, if there's any in the chat, feel free to let me know, but apparently they're not happy with the fact that FSG are spending a load of dough on Liverpool at the minute and kind of not really keeping up with the Red Sox. squad of players, shall we say. But I have a theory on this, and it comes from the Red Sox own fan base. I remember reading a piece, and I read it on the stream here a while back, stating that the Red Sox have no intention of trying to be competitive in the short term because the Dodgers, and again, I know nothing about baseball, because the Dodgers are in an era where they're going to be dominant. So FSG are keeping their powder dry and waiting till they feel like there's an opportunity to get the Red Sox back up and investing in property and upgrades in and around Fenway Park. Now, again, this is just something I read from the Red Sox fan base, but it got me thinking, is that what's gone on with Liverpool? Because when Manchester City were dominant, yes, we were competing, but we didn't put our hands in our pockets anywhere near as much as we are now. So is this an indication that maybe John W. Henry, Tom Werner, Mike Gordon and the FSG boffins have thought, well, now's the chance. Now's the chance to really invest into Liverpool, where Manchester City are definitely floundering a little bit, and get Liverpool to have an era of dominance. I don't think it's the most outlandish thing we've ever said on here, but if you think about it, it would have some sense to it, because City are probably at their weakest that they've been in, well, the last 10 years, maybe. Arsenal, they're thereabouts, but Liverpool have just shown that we can win a league title, and now maybe they'll feel like put the investment in now and Liverpool could push on even further over the next few years. Who drops out now that we get Wirtz? God bless, bro. I don't know if anybody necessarily drops out. You know, do we see the four of them utilised in one game? You know, it's going to be easier to answer, I guess, Ishmael, when we see pre-season and we see how Arne utilises the squad. But I wouldn't be thinking first 11 and thinking like this is the end of Dom or something like that. There's going to be so many games. There's going to be so much tactical fluidity that the manager can exercise. Maybe sometimes, like when we played Manchester City, he goes with that false nine. We've got two advanced midfield players alternating which one goes forward, which one stays back. So yeah, I wouldn't think about it as anyone being dropped out. But if we're being very, one for one type about it, you would have to say Szoboszlai be the one in the most danger of missing out in a game. But again, I don't think in those terms. I think this just gives the manager more options. 60 mil for Osimhen or 120 mil for Isak. So it's a difficult question to answer because my gut is it ain't my money. And my head says, if the club feel they can afford it, for me, the question is, who's going to be the better fit? And Isak is the answer for me. But I do totally appreciate and understand where you're coming from, because with Osimhen, yeah, you're getting a very good player. You're getting somebody that has a release clause, so much easier deal to do. With Isak, you're getting a player who, of course, you have to be concerned about some injuries. We'd be foolish not to mention that. But I just think if it was a straight shootout between the two of them, I'd far prefer Isak because it's not my money. And if the club feel they can afford it, then I want us to do the best business that we can. And I think Isak will be better business and more likely to propel us to more titles than Osimhen. Just my view, though. Appreciate you, though. Thank you, Milo Baby, for the super chat, my man. Ruben Peters will keep Isak fit for us. Well, he's renowned for doing great things in that regard. Before Arne Slot even joined the club, from our own initial research, we were talking to you guys about the fact that he has a 90% availability rate at Feyenoord with Arne Slot for keeping players on the pitch. And we've certainly seen that this season, whilst we didn't not have injuries, they were certainly far more managed than other clubs, and we didn't have any major injuries. So certainly Ruben Peters is pretty damn good at what he does. Right, so, and thank you for this, Macy Pappy, appreciate you. So how am I I'm gonna try my best to have a go at this one, my friend. So you said Milos's name, both E's are pronounced like the E in bet. So Kerkez? Oh, that's my best go with it, bro. If it's gonna have to be Milos, then Milos it is. But If there's one thing we know without any hesitation on this channel is you give me a name and I'll butcher the pronunciation. It took me months to get to Ekitike, so if we don't sign him, that's all that hard work out the window. Clint Ward said no chance to get Isak this summer unless his price comes down. Well, it doesn't seem to be stopping us. You know, it's not like they know the price. So no one's expecting Newcastle to suddenly turn around and go, yeah, have him for 70 million. Liverpool know it would be certainly in excess of £100 million. But so far, like we've said over the last week, so many stories that say we're just not backing away yet. And we also haven't committed to another forward. So let's see what happens when Darwin gets sold. And certainly it looks like Italy are good options for him. AC Milan and Napoli both interested. If you want to spread the Wirtz song and put your face on it, you have my full permission, my friend. I don't want to ruin it for you, bro, with me, because, you know, where I come in is Marmite. People with no known face to it, there's more chance of that song spreading, because some people will just go, oh, not this Irish bald idiot again. Oh, by the way, someone tried to scam us today. Yeah, one of our company cards were used fraudulently today over in the UK. So that was not on my bingo card of things today. Is Wirtz the best signing we've made? Thoughts? So I can only speak from my lifetime, right? Because I'm not around long enough to remember when we brought in Kenny Dalglish or players of that ilk. So is he the best signing? It's going to take a lot to get past Alisson, Virgil and Mohamed Salah, in my mind. Because to me, they're the ones that really pushed us on. I've always, as a Liverpool fan, been lucky enough to be able to see goal scorers at the club. But in the modern era, that defensive solidity, that world-class centre-back and goalkeeper partnership, I think, is what really kicked us on. So he's going to have to do something special, in my eyes, to be spoken about in that regard, because Virgil and Ali definitely pushed us on to a league title and some more European Cup, or another European Cup, sorry, and some domestic cup. So yeah, he's gonna have to deliver something big. A back-to-back league title maybe, or a Champions League. Then we can talk about it. Daryl said Suarez is, for me, no-brainer. He didn't win us that though, really. I don't think how we can say Suarez no-brainer. Because when I look at a signing being the best for us, I look at the change and the impact it made and what that signing brought us. And Luis Suarez was absolutely incredible here, but we didn't deliver a league title. We came close, but we didn't do it. It was Virgil, Alisson and Jurgen with Mohamed Salah that pretty much got us over the line there. You'll never walk alone said, is it wrong of me to be more concerned with the depth of the backline than signing a striker? I'm with you, mate. I'm 100% with you. I've said it for weeks on here. I've absolute faith in our firepower up top, and that we'll figure that out. But like you, mate, I'm concerned about the centre-back situation in particular. So we don't know what's happening with Konate. Kwanzaa, it's mixed. So the Echo, as an example, seem to believe there's no chance we sell Kwanzaa. And I understand the thought process on it. I'm not going to mock them over it. But others have said, you know, Kwanzaa's absolutely up for sale. And if we're being honest about it, he didn't push on last year. So I think there's definitely a question mark over him. Joe Gomez's future, of course, has some question marks around it as well. But until we know what's going on with Konate, I think you're absolutely right, mate, to be concerned about the situation at centre-back, because I agree with you. I'm concerned about it. Maybe Darwin and Kwanzaa for Isak plus cash. Do you think, honestly, though, Carl, there's any chance Newcastle want Darwin? Like, be honest. They've seen him for us in the Premier League. I don't think that they're going to be queuing up to welcome him in with open arms. Joe Pedro is a name that they have been looking at, though. And Kwanzaa they would absolutely have an interest in. That was looked at last summer, but I can't see them wanting Darwin. Nor can I see him wanting to stay in the Premier League either. I'm sure he wants to get the hell out of there and go to a league that's a bit more suited to him. Greetings from Saudi Arabia. Been a Liverpool fan all my life and a fan of the channel for a couple of years. Keep up the work, mate. Isak. You never know. Every time I keep saying to myself, no chance, Craig. Forget about it. No chance, Craig. More articles come out. More links to us to Isak. Liverpool aren't giving up. All this stuff. So, yeah. I don't know. I'm certainly not expecting it, but I'm daydreaming a bit about it. But thank you, Fasal. Appreciate your support and thank you so much for dropping in this evening. Never been to Saudi, but a couple of the boxing events over there have got me pretty close to going over. I've always found it just kind of daunting, the prospect of going. I don't know enough about how easy it is to just go and attend a fight over there. Do I have to go through XY visa program, this, that, the other? It's always going to stop me from going over, but I know a few people who've been over for events over there and have had some fun. I don't really drink, so the idea of no alcohol doesn't bother me anyway. But I'd love to go and see one of the boxing events over there and see what it's all about. What would the options be if Konate does leave? Panic, shit yourself. No, in all seriousness, you'd have to say, like our friend said yesterday, maybe Schlotterbeck, Branthwaite. You'd have to be up there thinking about him seriously. Who else could be looking at? You'd want a star. If you lost Konate, you definitely wouldn't be shopping in the potential category. You'd be shopping in the somebody to come in right now category. Yeah. Again, look at Germán Araujo from Benfica, perhaps. Branthwaite would be the one for me, though. For a couple of reasons, but how doable that would be, I don't know. When you take the cost and stats into account, Mo's best. Again, it's an easy thing to say that because you're not going to see stats that show you how many goals Virgil and Alisson prevented. It's easy to look at a striker or an attacker and go, yeah, X amount of goals, X amount of assists. It's easy to quantify their contribution to the team. But the reason that I'm so stubborn on the Alisson and Van Dijk part is I think they changed for us. I've seen Liverpool have 30 goal-a-season goal scorers before. I've never seen us in my lifetime have the ability to have the defensive solidity that Alisson and Van Dijk brought us. Nick Raymond said, hopefully this transfer nonsense doesn't become a trend. Also, have you seen the video of Trent's brother disparaging the fans? He wouldn't have his job if it weren't for the club. So I've tried, Nick, so much to bite my tongue on this whole situation. But honestly, the word toe rag comes to mind when I think about his brother. Now, I don't know much about Tyler Alexander-Arnold, but I do know that this whole Trent move was engineered over a long time and was no accident, and that the club were played. And he certainly seems like a snidey little piece of work, but like I said, I don't know him. Hopefully we don't have any dealings with him again moving forward. If Robbo moves on, then that's one less client of his again at the club. So have you seen, by the way, John Lennon Airport have posted calling Trent a snake? And I'm not even joking. Like, genuinely, the airport have posted calling Trent a snake. We had to double check it to see if it was fake or not, but they honestly did. So they posted a picture that Trent posted of him getting on a plane, and they wrote, he even flew from Manchester, snake. I get in trouble when I talk about these things because I say what people think but don't say out loud. And the whole situation with Trent was very clear from day one that he was manipulating the club and that he was dragging it out. And all the bullshit and all the kindness that people had towards him was spat back in their face. Everything was done to look after him and his self-serving interests. And he deserves to be put in the category with Michael Owen. And I don't agree with the booing at a game because I'm not somebody who agrees with booing your own player one way or the other, but certainly ignoring him. And for me now, he's the enemy. He plays for Real Madrid. You've joined the enemy. You've moved to a club, in my opinion, that is the antithesis of everything Liverpool, and that is very much everything we dislike about modern football and how football clubs conduct themselves. And he's made that choice, and his brother's there with him. So fuck him, fuck his brother, and the rest of them can just go off because his cousin on calling people poor from being from Breck Road. The whole thing just looks classless, in my opinion, from a group of people that should very much be grateful for what the city and the football club gave to them and their family. And if they aren't, and this is the way they're behaving, then someday he'll get his comeuppance. That's all I can say. Fazal said, I'm working, or Faisal, excuse me, or Fazal said, I'm working night shifts lately, you're my company. Thank you, bro. I appreciate that. Genuinely, it's such an honour to be part of somebody or anyone's daily routine, or for you guys to, let us into your worlds. It means so much, my man, so thank you for your support. Brady boy, hello from the US. Love the show, Craig. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate you. Love right back over to you, my man. And thank you for your support. Right, let's check back in on our poll. So, will Liverpool get Isak this? Wow, this is very similar to the results that we got on the Anfield Agenda WhatsApp channel. So we've had, when we get to 2,500 votes, we'll call it. It's 2,400 at the minute, so do keep voting. But yeah, very similar results so far that we were seeing over on the WhatsApp channel. Nessie, I'm good, thank you, my friend. Yeah, feeling much better today than I did yesterday. Worried I was coming down with a bad throat yesterday. It's cleared up a bit today, so feeling quite good. Lovely to see you in as well. Hope you're well. Trent's the Scouse, Colby Covington, for those who know. I know who Colby Covington is from the UFC, but I don't know enough about his personality around to really get that reference. But I just find the whole thing very snide, like I said, all the way through. I was definitely in the Paddy Pimblett camp on the Trent scenario of, I don't believe any of this is him taking his time to think things through or any of that crap. I think he just milked the club, ran down his contract and looked after himself. Schlotterbeck tore his meniscus in April. Move this summer is unlikely. Oh, I did not know that, Nick. Thank you. Maybe next summer if injury doesn't hinder his ability too much. Appreciate that, my man. So yeah, that's one option then off the table. As you said, I can't imagine Liverpool bringing in somebody who's carrying an injury like that. So thank you, Nick. Appreciate that. Peter Crilly said, love these chats, Craig. Keep it up, kid. Appreciate you, my man. Thank you. Honestly, all of you, whether you're new to our channel or not, I love coming on here and chatting with you every night. We have a great bit of crack as well. And for every one asshole, there's 100 lovely people. So I appreciate you all to bits. Thank you. What's the score on the Chelsea game? It was 1-0 just before I came on, I think, Fisherman, but I don't know the latest score on it. Right. So, the results of the poll, we asked, will Liverpool sign Alexander Isak this summer? And after 2,600 votes, 43% of you guys and girls said no. Yes, 29%, and unsure 26%. So as I mentioned, very similar vote numbers to what we've seen in the Anfield Agenda WhatsApp channel. And if you do want to join that, we're nearly at 5,500 people now. If you want to come and join our WhatsApp channel, scan that QR code there on the screen, or you can use the link that's pinned to the top of the chat. I don't think Trent will ever be welcome back. So I seen something on Sky Sports back pages the other night, and the headline in one of the newspapers was, Trent, Liverpool will welcome me back. And they ran with it as if it was Liverpool or Trent saying that Liverpool would welcome him back if it doesn't work out for Madrid. But I don't think that's what was meant whatsoever. I think that FSG said to him, you're welcome to come back for a game anytime, as in you want to come visit, want to come attend the game or anything like that, you're always welcome. Which they would extend that courtesy to any former Liverpool player because the club are very good around that. But the way it was ran with on Sky Sports, it was very much made to look like Trent was saying, well, the club told me if it doesn't work out, they'll welcome you back. I can tell you categorically that he isn't welcome back from us fans anyway. I know there are going to be some people out there who would welcome him back, but I dare say if I ran a poll now and asked you, would you welcome Trent back in 2 years? I think it would be a pretty one-sided vote. Martin said, heard some rumours about Diamande at centre-back. Good shout, mate. His name has certainly done the rounds again this summer. And what I found very interesting about the Diamande link when I looked at it, Martin, was that the link was for 10 million less than his release clause. So I'd seen a number of about 60 million quid mentioned, but his release clause, to the best of my understanding, was about 70 million euro at Sporting Lisbon. You'll never walk alone means nothing then. See, why is it that you never walk alone is only ever to us fans? This winds me up something fierce. You'll never walk alone, we get said. If we give out about anyone, that gets put out to us. But why isn't the player held to the same fucking standard? Because he's enriched himself from his time at Liverpool and increased his brand. So where's the loyalty from him? Why is the loyalty only to us punters who pay the money? Why isn't it to the players or coaches in Linder's case? Doesn't apply there. See, I don't see anybody being very quick to run them down. But whenever there's a chance to have cheap shots at Liverpool fans, apparently it's open season. So I get what you mean, but it also applies the other way round. And you'll never walk alone if you don't stick the knife in the back. If you represent the club, leave with dignity and grace, then absolutely you'll never walk alone. Look at Bobby Firmino to show how to have an exit from a football club. But manipulating the situation and using people's loyalty against them, you don't get the you'll never walk alone treatment in my eyes if that's the way that you are. That's my take on it anyway. Here's a perfect example of it. England were booed recently in the last 2 games. Half-time, full-time. Not a fucking peep about it on Sky or anywhere else. Nowhere. Nothing to be had. Liverpool have a handful or a section boo Trent in 1 game. You couldn't fucking move for 3 days. For Liverpool fans, boo, boo, boo. It's wrong, it's terrible, one of your own, blah, blah. Every English player is one of their own. Every English player. And they were booed half-time and full-time. Twice. Where's the media fuss about it? Or is it only when you can take a cheap shot at Liverpool fans? Of course it is. The hypocrisy is absolutely hilarious. Do you think Wirtz would have signed for us if Virgil and Mo had not renewed their contracts? Love AA, watching from Dublin. Thank you, Jason. Good question. Good question. I think it might have been a harder sell to the player. I can't say definitively, of course, one way or the other, but it does seem that a lot of Florian's desire to come to the club stems from 3 main things that I can figure out. 1, he was very impressed by Anfield and, of course, the facilities when Leverkusen played us in the Champions League and the AXA training centre, which Leverkusen trained at the day after. Excuse me. Secondly, the manager. He was very, very impressed in his meeting with Arne Slot and the tactical proposition that was put to him. And thirdly, and again, I don't think anybody could disagree with this, look at the images of the parade. Look at the images of the celebration and the adulation that those players received from a city that was waiting a very long time to have that release with the players. That doesn't go unnoticed by these footballers. You know you're coming to play for a city that lives and breathes football, that shows up like they did when there's something to celebrate. That wouldn't be lost on a player either. I mean, you'd be rubbing your hands together, wouldn't you? Saying, come on. I've often spoke on here about how if I was a player, I'd have always loved to spell in Turkey because Turkish football fans are absolutely fanatical, and I mean it in a good way, and that would really make me want to go and play there. And I would imagine Wirtz looking around thought, yeah, I'll have me a bit of that. I'll have me a bit of that Anfield. Thank you very much. Dara said, thoughts on Giovanni Van Bronckhorst? Amazing content. Appreciate you, my man. Look, again, content-wise, I chat with you. You make the content, really. I'm just here to fill in the blanks. I think it's a good appointment. You know, he certainly knows football, Giovanni Van Bronckhorst, been in and around it as a player and a coach for a very long time. You've got that Dutch hookup, of course, as well. And most importantly, he's clearly somebody that Arne and Sipke Hulshaw feel will blend and fit in well. Johnny Heidegger did a great job, of course. Wish him the very best in his new role at Ajax. But yeah, it feels like a good, stable, solid bit of recruitment from the club. Sunil, how are we, bro? Wirtz did his ACL a few years ago. I think it was 3, if my memory's right, Sunil, but don't hold me to that. Remember how Fekir fell off after his ACL? Seems like post 2020, the surge of medical science, the ACL is just another injury. Takes a while, but athletes are able to get back to their best. So again, I'm certainly no doctor, mate. There's a gynecologist joke in there somewhere, but I remember reading something about the Fekir ACL. Now, if there is anybody with a medical background, feel free to pull me up on this if I'm wrong. But apparently, there's a couple of different ways that the ACL can be rebuilt. One of them gets you back playing quicker, but may not be as sturdy in the long term. And the other one apparently would build your knee up better and last longer, but would take more to recover from. And I think there was some talk that maybe Fekir's one was one that Liverpool weren't wholeheartedly convinced by. But again, no doctor here, so if I'm wrong on that, I apologise. But like you said, he's come back from his ACL, Sunil. Had 3 really good seasons, particularly the last 2 seasons. Bundesliga Player of the Season. He's just a supreme talent, and we are getting in a very special player. Osimhen is better and cheaper. I mean, I'll give you the cheaper part, but sitting there saying to us that Isak and Osimhen's better than Isak, shall we put it to a vote? Sounds like a good idea to me. So let's ask. I'm intrigued. You've intrigued me now, bro. Let's ask. So, who's better? Isak or Osimhen? So let's see. Let's come back and we'll see what the public say. Jamie. Trent said he gave his life to Liverpool for 20 years. I say Liverpool gave him that life for 20 years. So, how do I say this? It was mutually beneficial, I think is the fairest way to say it. Trent obviously showed a lot of professionalism throughout the 20 years here and listened to his coaches, and apparently had a bit of a temper when he came in, and some of that was taken out of his game. Obviously he changed around positions a little bit. But there is no denying that there is more brand value for him being that local kid that came through. The Adidas ads and all the promo and all the other stuff, it paid off for him to be that guy. So yeah, I find it very difficult to just fall into this category of, well, Trent gave 20 years to the club. You know what I mean? Like, you gave 20 years to the club you grew up supporting, who've also made you a pretty wealthy fella. But he doesn't get there without his hard work and the hours he spends making himself better as well. You can't just gloss over that side of it. But yeah, look, I'm just glad it's over. I'm sick of talking about him, and I'm sick of hearing from Michael Owen chirping in on it and trying to figure out why he's not liked either. It's pretty fucking clear, Mr. Owen, why you're not liked. Nick said, of course, these other fans would give their Star Academy boys Kim Jong-un parade-style send-off if they left an engineer to free to a ratty club. Yeah, I can only imagine the very calm and rational response from Arsenal fans if Saka was to run down his contract and go off and join Madrid in 3 years' time. I'm sure that they'd all stand in the Emirates and applaud, and all the fan channels would be doing nothing but wishing them the best, and they wouldn't be showing themselves up to be the massive fucking hypocrites that they are. Not at all. Not at all, Nick. As you said, mate, they'd all just stand there and applaud and go, yeah, that's my boy. Wishing you nothing but the best. Go on over there to Madrid and do us proud, boy. Come on, you know. It's nonsense. Appreciate you trying to pronounce. What was the word I was to use again? Kerkez? 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 Milos? Sorry, bro. It's easy for you to remember. Just join the words Kerkez. Ah, now you got me. Kerkez. There you got me. Now we go with it, Macy Poppy. There we go. Kerkez. There you go. Now you've made it idiot proof. Appreciate that, my man. Kerkez. There we go. Monkstown Glass, how are you, sir? The channel's getting better and better. Well done, Craig. Thank you. I feel like I'm getting into my groove now. A lot of the time, I'm always self-conscious because of my weight. So somebody in the comments earlier on said, pull your sleeves up higher there, Craig, so we can show off your tattoos more. I think I've explained why I pull my sleeves up many times here on the channel. It's an autism thing. I don't feel like feeling restricted with cuffs on a top. If you see me walking outside on the street, you'll see me with my sleeves up. I hate having the restriction. And I don't wear t-shirts because I'm really paranoid about my man boobs. And it makes me really self-conscious. So a hoodie's a bit looser, and it makes me feel less self-conscious on here, because side boob is a major issue for me, and I have a surgeon appointment in October to see if that can be done to help me with it, as long as the weight loss as well. But yeah, it's if I can get a bit more confidence in that regard, I hopefully can kick the channel onto another level. But very self-conscious, and I hate even looking at myself in the mirror. I'm the type of guy that, no joke, goes to the bathroom and turns the light off when I'm going in so I don't have to see myself in the mirror. Which sounds ironic, considering I'm on a YouTube channel in front of a camera all day, I know. Daniel said, Trent is a knob. We could just leave it there, Daniel, and we'd both be happy. But you said, he did the dirty on the club, and the club is the main thing. We won't miss him with the new signings. Their fans won't be as forgiving over there when mistakes are made in games. Absolutely, 100%. You'll see the Danny Carvajal shouts very quickly when Trent starts not tracking back. Scouse Will said, Michael Owen is the most boring commentator in the entire world. He's not great. I agree with you on that one. But what really winds me up is having to listen to Neville doing Liverpool games, and you can hear the disdain in his voice when we score or we do anything well. So yeah, if I could ask Sky one little favour, it would be to get rid of him. But they have gotten rid of Ref Watch, so, you know, win-win and all that. John, thank you, my friend. Appreciate you. 2-0 Chelsea now, they're saying in that one. Thank you. Mart said Ferdinand is more boring. So, yeah, I've butted heads with Mr. Rio Ferdinand on a few occasions, and what I will say is I could listen to Rio talk about defending all day. Genuinely, I could. If he's there to break down a defensive bit of work, I could listen to him all day. But when he's talking about shite that's just nonsense, yeah, a bit cringy. But again, we don't have to listen to him anymore because he's gone from TNT Sport as well. But yeah, I've always had a bit of a mixed relationship there with Ferdinand, because some of the stuff he said, like Newcastle fans should be grateful to Ashley, that stuff wound me up. Definitely not because Ashley was selling his 5 product in Sports Direct. Definitely wasn't because of that. Let's not get overexcited with FSG. Mate, if there's somebody you don't need to say that to, it's this guy. But if they've spent 100 mil on a player, I doubt we'll go all out for a world-class striker. Just speaking of past experience, hope I'm wrong. So for me, Sunil, the way I think this pans out is we've spent the money now, let's say roughly, that's the majority of the budget. So 190 odd million quid between Kerkez, Wirtz and Frimpong. Now I expect sales to help or mainly fund the rest of the business. So whether it's a centre back and a centre forward. So that's why we wanted to make sure we had the net spendometer for this window, because we need to keep track of what the net spend is at the end of it. And I'm not going to judge the whole window based off a net spend. If we end up with a net spend of, let's say, 100 million, but we've improved the team right across the board, hey, I'll be happy about that. It's not always about the underlying figures. It's about asking the question, are we prepared to go into this season and really compete on all fronts? And if the answer to that's yes, then I'll be happy. What's this? So, Anfield sector have just dropped something So full credit to the boys at Anfield sector. Milos Kerkez's father. Are you ready for this? Because I'm going to read you out a quote now, and you're going to punch the air. You're going to do it. He said, his father, "It's only Liverpool for us, and we're not going anywhere else, and we won't talk to other clubs. Everything is done between us, personal terms. We just need to sort out some details, but it's basically a done deal." And they said, listen to and translated by, and then they credited an account at ZLAT LFC, Zlat LFC. Well, I'll read that out again because it sounds so fucking nice. "It's only Liverpool for us," said Mr. Kerkez, "and we're not going anywhere else, and we won't talk to other clubs. Everything is done between us. Personal terms. We just need to sort out some details, but it's basically done." Come on! Gets in! Go on! There you go. There we go. Grizz called it as a done deal. Okay. It is a done deal. And shout out to Grizz. Yes. I hope Mr. Khan as well. Oh, sorry, I'm still wanting to air. I'm still wanting to go full Rocky now, shadow boxing and all of that news. That's brilliant. Honestly, that's amazing. To hear his dad say that again. Now we're sucking diesel, as we say over here in Ireland. Craig, please could you do a phone-in style show? It's not a question that I can actually just say yes to, Matthew, because I have to talk technical side of it with Connor. But it's definitely something I think people would like us to do, because a few people have asked over the last week. It's just doing it right and making sure that visually and audio wise it works for the channel. So leave it with me. As I mentioned, we've been talking with a new platform about doing some stuff that will allow us to give away money and give away anything we want, basically, because I'll be able to run daily FPL and stuff, and people will be able to buy into it, and we'll be able to have some fun, but it won't be YouTube centric. So yeah, we might be able to tie all that in together, but bear with me. I have another few calls over the next. We've been talking about this platform for 3 months now to try and get to a point where we're all good to go on it. And I'm really excited by it, because I'd love the idea for us to be able to play, let's say, daily FPL where Liverpool are playing, let's say, Manchester United, and I say to you, right, you've got a 100 mil budget, here's the game, go in, pick your 5 players, buy in for £5, and let's say there's 100 people in at £5 a pop, there's 500 quid, we give away half of that as the prize. So that's what we're kind of working towards at the minute, and I can't tell you some of the other technical innovations that are in the works, but it is so exciting. I've been blown away by this company over the past 3 months. No, it isn't kick, no. Deutscher Kopite said, "Can't believe fans are dismissing Osimhen over Isak. Osimhen has more goals in less games than Isak, and also more assists." But you can't get angry at people for having an opinion. You know, sometimes I run a poll and I don't get the answer that I want either. But it is just people's opinions, mate, and we got to respect them. For what it's worth, I'd be in the Isak camp as well in this one. So I think it's a landslide. We'll let it get to 2,000 votes. But the question we asked, courtesy of a gentleman in the chat, who said, who's better, Isak or Osimhen? Charlie O'Neill said, "Can't lie, Kerkez is overrated." Is he? Really? In what sense? Do tell. A 21, 22-year-old fullback who's just come in from AZ Alkmaar to Bournemouth in the Premier League and stood out very clearly as one of the best left backs in the league. I don't see how he's overrated. Personally, I don't. Yeah, I think we're getting an Andy Robertson regen. Honestly, I do. I think Milos is tailor-made for us. But I respect your opinion. I just would disagree with it strongly. Kazwara, how are you, my friend? Said, "What players do you think will leave, and who do you think will replace them?" Love you, bro. Love right back to you, bro. Thank you. Appreciate you. Chiesa, Darwin, Elliot, Morton, Still couldn't say for certain whether it's Robbo or Costas, because we don't know if Liverpool are going to have any joy negotiating with Madrid. So a left back will leave. And I think we lose a centre back, whether that's Kwanzaa, Gomez, or Konate, I'm not sure. But that's my best guess at who I think leaves. Excuse me, and there might be some other fringe players in and around as well. Looking forward to seeing the fixtures on Wednesday, said Martin. Yep, there'll always be the fake ones that are leaked a day or two before that, every year without fail, some people fall for. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see on Wednesday who Liverpool get in the first few games. Kid is only 21, that good at 21. I know, he's brilliant. The energy levels we're going to have in both fullback positions are going to be incredible. So you've got Kerkez going down one side, and then you've got Frimpong, Bradley on the other side. It's going to be class. I can't wait. Why did it make me emotional hearing that quote from his dad? And me too, mate. I don't think you're on your own. It's like the dream stuff you want to read about a player coming to your club. That they're all in. It's only us. They only want us. They've no interest talking to anyone else. It's what you want to hear. It's a dream. So, yeah, bring it on. And I'm sure he's going to be very welcomed at the club as well. Dramil said, what would you want or prefer our first game to be? Personally, give me United. Let's say Leeds at home would be a really interesting, fun game for the first game. Or who else? Let's see. I wouldn't mind catching Spurs early before Thomas Frank really puts his stamp on them. So I wouldn't mind catching them a bit early either. Who else? I don't want Burnley. That'd be a boring first one. Yeah, Leeds at home would be class. I think that'd be a good first game. And don't forget, Milos' brother plays, I think, with in the Greek league, if I'm not mistaken, as well as a pro. With the signings being made, how many wins are you giving the Reds next season? Oh, God, I don't know. No idea. If we win the league, I don't really care how many wins we get. But goal going into next season now has got to be one of the big two. Has to be, if not both. I know that sounds greedy, but I believe. How could you not? We're kicking on from what we've done and we're after winning the league. Yeah, I think going into next season, anything is possible. And I genuinely believe anything is possible now next season. Bobby Ball. So would love us to get Alvarez, maybe Nunez, Robbo as part of any deal. Cheaper, more versatile, less injury prone. He just doesn't want to come back to the UK, according to a lot of people that we've seen, heard, read stuff from. Yeah, just not the right type of climate. I think if he does leave Atletico, it looks like Barcelona are going to be fluttering their eyelashes at him next summer, according to a few reports as well. Right, have we got the... We only need 30 more votes to get to the 2,000. And also, we're at 80 likes short of 1,000. So if you have a second, folks, please do hit that like button for me. Again, want to thank everyone that's subscribed to our Clips channel. It's gone past 50,000 subscribers, halfway to getting the YouTube silver play button for the Clips channel. So if you haven't subscribed, do check out Anfield Agenda Clips if you get a chance. Eddie, how are you, my friend? Do you think Costa stays if Robbo goes? Yeah. I think because if we didn't keep him, then you're getting into the realms of too much change, Eddie. So I think one of the fullback stays would be the easiest way to put it, because anything else, I think it's too much change for one window. And I'm not aware of a youth product that is ready just yet to come in at left back either. So certainly think one of the boys will stay, yeah. Oliver said Gomez, Morton, Shimmy, Robbo, Nunez, Jota, and a left winger. Again, I can't see Robbo and Costas both going in the one window. Now, I'm not saying what I'm saying is a matter of fact, just an opinion. I feel like you are getting into the realms, though, Oliver, of too much change if you were to move on both fullbacks. Kazwara said, if his dad's confirming it, so are we. Oh, mate, it's done. Like we've said, I promised you. I don't know how long all of you guys have been watching, But at the start of this transfer window, I made you one promise that Frimpong, Kerkez and Wirtz won't fall apart, that they will be Liverpool players, that they only have eyes for the Reds, and that you've nothing to worry about. Few hairy moments with the Wirtz situation, it dragged on a bit longer than we would have wanted, but I made you the promise you've nothing to worry about on those three, and I told you after that, I'm not going to be your guy for giving you 100% information, because if something comes in our laps, we'll talk about it, but we knew that those three were going to happen, and I'm very relieved that they are, and also very excited. James, how are we, dude? So, Craig, would you be worried if we didn't sign a couple of centre-backs? I'd be worried myself if Virgil was out a long time. So the way I look at it, James, in the centre-back situation is, right now, without anybody going, we're one short, in my opinion. I like 5. And if everybody stays, somebody young, I'm absolutely open to. If we lose Konate, I think we're in problem territory, because then you have to rebuild a partnership again. So I dream about a transfer window. This scenario is Konate signs a new deal, Kwanzaa leaves, we bring in another centre-back, and Gomez stays. And I still think then we're still short. So 1 out, 2 in would be the way I'd answer it. That's the way I'd look at it. I'm most concerned about the centre-back spot of any other position in the market. I've been saying that for weeks. Because there's so much uncertainty around Konate. We don't know what really is going on there. What's this one? Cool, I'll get to that in a while. What else have we got? Fofana. I said to you guys about Fofana, didn't I? David Ornstein saying that Chelsea have made a verbal inquiry to Lyon regarding Malik Fofana. But what we do know there is that Fofana wants to come to Liverpool. And if Liverpool do want Fofana, he'll be a Liverpool player. If they don't, then he may end up at Chelsea. But you don't need to take my word on that. I'm sure the player himself said Liverpool are the ones. Lewis Steele said, the word I'm getting is that Liverpool are not done and will go for a number 9. Let's just see who that number 9 is. Right, so we've over 2,000 votes. Who's better, Isak or Osimhen? 84% said that Isak is better. So the public have spoken. Fireburn said 2 centre-backs is too many. Someone will always be unhappy. So get where you're coming from. Totally do. But look at this season. We had Gomez, we had Konate, and we had Virgil. And Gomez was injured towards the end of the season. If either Virgil or Konate had an injury, we were screwed. Because there's no way that we're going to go and be as comfortable as we were winning the league with Kwanzaa coming in to replace one of them. So I think we need 2. Personally, one of them being young. But either way, we need to improve one of the centre-backs. Because I just don't think Kwanzaa's going to cut the mustard. I just don't. Just an opinion. Sunil said, we have to replace the great Nat Phillips. We haven't replaced the great Joe Matip yet, Sunil. He's left the club and we haven't replaced him in the squad. Forever LFC said, Nick Vultmade, the young German kid, could be a great talent for us to snap up. He is currently playing in the under 21 Euros. I think he scored for Germany against Czechia yesterday. Was it Chelsea again who'd been linked with him? Or somebody else had been linked with him as well. So whatever happens, I don't think there'll be any deal for him while he's playing in the Euros. Medical Friday, when's media and Kerkez, you think? So he's flying in Thursday, Colin, to start the process. So I don't know if medical, media, and then announcement Monday. Maybe. I hope it's not announced next weekend, because I'm not here for the whole weekend, because Brian's coming over from Boston and I'm showing him around for a few days. So I very much hope it isn't unveiled next Saturday or Sunday, because I won't be able to cover it. So for me, I hope it's Friday or Monday. But Kerkez, I think it's just going to come down to when they agree a fee with Bournemouth. Once the fee is agreed, Kerkez will be on a plane and the medical will be happening. But as of sitting here right now, I don't know of an agreement between the two clubs, but others are starting to say deal done. So let's wait and see. I don't think it'll be too far away though, Colin. Marco said, I honestly think Kwanzaa can have a future at Liverpool. We saw how good he can be 2 seasons ago, so I wouldn't be ready to sell him just yet. My problem though, mate, is if the manager doesn't trust them at the moment, and look at this season, it doesn't feel like Kwanzaa's earned his trust because he didn't give him any opportunities. So for me, I don't want a situation where, and by the way, I think you're right. It is early in his career to be writing him off. Absolutely. I think you're more than credible with what you're saying there. But if the manager isn't willing to use him, what's the point? You know, if Arne doesn't trust them, what you or I or anybody else think is kind of irrelevant. So my view is I don't think he does, you know, based off the lack of minutes we'd seen from this season. I think he made 15 outings in total, but how many of them were minor minutes? And as far back as the first game of the season, he was subbed at half time because he wasn't winning his duels and never seemed to really recover his form for the rest of the season. Haven't Bournemouth signed the left back today? They've signed, Adrian Truffert from Rennes. €13.5 million guarantee payment, and I think 3.5 million in additional add-ons. So they're stocked up at left back because they also brought in Julio Soler from Lanús in Argentina in January. So they were preparing the groundwork for Kerkez departure. So yeah, they have, mate. They've got the replacement in. So you would imagine, that's what I'm saying, it should tick along from here. Knowing FSG, we let go of Kwanzaa or Gomez and get a young centre-back in. That's it. Don't expect anything beyond that. I don't know what to expect, Sunil. Honestly, I don't, because we don't know categorically what's happening with Konate. If Konate signs a new deal, I'm far more chilled about all of this because we've got Virgil and Ibu. But if he wants to go to Madrid or, you know, the club can't agree a new deal with him, then it becomes a little bit trickier. When do we call up Rio? I think you'll see him in pre-season, and I don't know what happens after that. It's a tough one because if we see him in pre-season and he looks good, you'd want to keep him around even if he only gets a handful of opportunities this season, because if I'm the manager, I'm wanting to nurture this talent. I'm wanting to coach this talent. I'm wanting to prepare him for the way we want to play. So probably with a talent that undoubted, I probably wouldn't be loaning him out, to be honest with you. So maybe Carabao Cup, maybe early FA Cup rounds, maybe off the bench in games we're winning by 2 or 3 goals with a few to go, and start to ease him in that way over the season. Endo Gravenberg by Cetic will be the 5th centre-back cover in my opinion. Well, I take by Cecic's name out of that list, but the rest, potentially could cover at centre-back, mate. I agree. Fireburn said Konate needs sorting ASAP. We all know PSG and Madrid will be lurking. Definitely, there has to be some cut-off point for the Konate situation. So let's say second week July, just to throw a time frame out there. If Liverpool sit down with his representatives and they're not getting to the point where it's looking like a deal's going to be agreed, then I do think those difficult conversations have to be had about, well, what do you want here, or are you really looking to run down your contract because we're not having another Trent situation? So yeah, Liverpool will be in a tough position, but I think the World Cup hands us that little edge in the negotiation that he'll want to go to the World Cup with Didier Deschamps, and if he's not, if Liverpool say, well, look, if you're trying to run down your deal, you're not going to play for us this season, you're going to sit on the bench, and best of luck going to the World Cup. Hopefully it doesn't come to that, but yeah, I don't think you can let it go on indefinitely. I really do hope Konate stays. I'd hate to see him and try to go to Madrid and do what Trent did. Because we all love Ibu, and he looks like he really likes life at the club, so I hope he wants to stay. You know, PSG I've always understood a little bit different. If PSG want him, I think they'd come forward and put in an offer this summer. But Real Madrid are just snide, and we know what they're at and the way they go about it, so they're just classless in my opinion. Petter said, we've kicked off our Club World Cup campaign with a 2-0 win against LAFC. Yeah, that's it's nothing to be jumping about there, to be honest. Should be whooping them 5 or 6 nothing, Petter, in all honesty. 2-0 is probably not a great result, looking at it. And also, nobody gives a fuck about the Club World Cup. If you not looked at the stadiums, the whole thing's a farce. Good for the clubs making money on it, but nobody wants to be there. Players don't want to be taking part in it. Competition itself's an absolute joke, and nobody wants to go to the games by the looks of it either. Did I watch the Inter Miami game? I watched the Inter Miami first half, and I watched. What else did I watch? I watched one full game of it. Which one was it? I watched. What was the late night game the other day? I can't remember what the other game I watched was, in all honesty, but it was another 0-0 anyway. Konate, VVD, best pairing in the Prem. Players need to rest. Yeah. Again, no dig against you there or Chelsea, Petter. It's just the whole tournament's a joke. The players don't want to be there. It's going to have a knock-on effect into your season next season, mate. You're in the Champions League. You're going back into a new season where your manager won't be able to rotate as much as he did, obviously, in the Conference League. And I just think this Club World Cup is going to impact Chelsea and City, and it's going to cause you more injury concerns going in as well. But nothing disrespectful intended to you, mate. But I'd be saying the same if Liverpool were in the tournament. I wouldn't want them to be in it. Hayden said, did Liverpool reject this or were they not invited? I believe we weren't invited, in all honesty, but I wouldn't want us in it at this moment in time because the players, look how tired our players were at the end of the season. I wouldn't want that carrying in to another month and then having no pre-season for the lads. Screw Real Madrid. They're just waiting for the Super League, aren't they? Pretty much. Like I said, they talk about respecting class. Don't show up to the Ballon d'Or, even though their manager is winning an award. And I think they won Team of the Year. But they don't show up there because Vinicius definitely not good enough to win the Ballon d'Or. Junior didn't get it, so they throw the toys out of the pram like petulant children. Then they keep pushing the Super League while talking about respect again. I just have no time for them. Matt said, love you, Craig. All signings in for pre-season. Most of them. It depends how quickly the striker situation evolves. So if we sell Darwin quickly, then yeah, I would imagine they'd be all in by 8th of July. Lawrence Mark, much love, my friend. Appreciate your kind words in the chat. There's a 2-team limit from each league for the Club World Cup. Yep, and they also have to shoehorn into Miami because Messi's there, even though there was no justifiable reason to put Inter Miami into that tournament other than the fact that Leo Messi plays for them. Updates from Romano and Ekitike, see it. I mean, the only thing we've seen is that he's a concrete option for Liverpool, and Federico Chiesa is leaving Liverpool. They're the only things we've seen over the last hour or so from Romano. Inter Miami finished top of the league phase of the MLS. Yeah, but they didn't win the MLS Cup, so they didn't win anything. Again, they just shoehorned them in there because Messi was playing. Saw a video last night that broke down Ekitike's numbers, and it's very similar to Xerxes' numbers, even though he's playing in a weaker league, not a player we should pay 100 million for. I haven't seen enough of him to know if he's good enough or not, like I've said, but I do think the markup's too much based off the 13 million they paid for him from PSG. I think this 100 million euro stuff is just fantasy stuff. It's too much money. I think his real value is probably 65 million euro. Let me read this out. Apparently, Kerkez father says Richard Hughes told them to go to India. They would love it. Okay, cool. Keep up the great work. I watch every stream. Thank you. look, whatever he's saying to them, if he's bigging up his father enough that his father's coming out and saying it's only Liverpool for us and we're not going anywhere else, then Richard Hughes, you keep talking whatever you're talking there, my man. Wait, what else we got? Muckrab. So Craig, is it just me or do these journalists give nothing but updates constantly? It's just the same stuff they said yesterday. It's kind of the game though, to be honest. What happens though is it's compounded because you get Romano, let's say, given an update that isn't an update. Let's just use the situation here about Ekitike as an option. He's a concrete option for Liverpool. So you'll get him saying that, and then you'll get 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 or 9 different Liverpool outlets, including me, saying that. So that gets compounded then and becomes everywhere. That just goes to show, though, I guess, the sway that the guy has. If him and Ornstein or Joyce say anything, it's everywhere within 10 minutes. So I guess it just goes to speak to their own credibility. And I meant that as a compliment, by the way, as in, if they speak, people listen and it gets shared around. Craig, as much as in a perfect world it would be great content, sadly a phone-in stream would be an absolute magnet for the Richard heads out there. Yeah, I definitely don't think it's something we go into without some fail-safes or some ways of making sure we know who's going to come on. But I totally get where you're coming from. There's definitely some, but also that would be part of the fun for me, if I'm being honest about it. Like somebody coming on and telling me I'm an asshole, I kind of wouldn't mind that challenge either. It'd be a bit of fun because I'd back myself to very much mute their mic and tear them to shreds. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe I just want a bit of confrontation. I don't know. Sunil said Inter Miami won the league last year. They didn't though. They didn't. They won the league phase of it, but they didn't win the overall competition. It's ridiculous. Americans rate the MLS Cup over the actual league because they're obsessed with playoffs. Imagine not rewarding the league winners. Why is it so hard to understand? They have their own way of doing it, and look, like they said, they won the conference. Don't think that they won the whole MLS league outright, and certainly didn't win the MLS Cup. So it's because Messi plays there. Look, if I'm running a tournament, if I'm FIFA, I'm finding a way to try and get Messi in it as well. Craig, what's your updated views on Richard Hughes, etc.? He took a bit of stick, but feel like we're in good hands and secure with them. Klopp was wrong on Trent. What's my updated view on him? So far, so good. Yeah, look, it was hard to judge him when we had nothing. We had no body of work to really look at. But so far, this summer hasn't missed a beat. Yeah, so far, so good. Is how I'd say, Neverland. Do you know what? Who did impress me though? That Egyptian side is Al Ahly that played Inter Miami. They impressed me. They were really good. And also Palmeiras. I know they drew a Porto 0-0, but I thought they looked a very tactically well-drilled team. Very good out of possession, very good press. So yeah, look, there was definitely going to be some teams I expect to see over the Club World Cup that I've underestimated or haven't seen enough of their divisions and league to play. But, you know, for every one of those, there's that 10-0 nonsense between Bayern Munich and Auckland, which just isn't a great look. Craig, would you please do a vote either Wirtz, Isak, Salah or Wirtz, Osimhen, Salah for the front three? We just did one. We did a vote not half an hour ago between Isak and Osimhen, and it was a landslide for Isak. 80-something%, if my memory's right. We did it about halfway through the stream, I think. Why did they schedule a game at 3 p.m. on a Monday and expect fans to show up? And schedule it not in LA. You know, it's not like why didn't, if LA are going to be in it, and again, maybe it was a scheduling thing, maybe they were late edition, I don't know enough about it, but why put it on in Atlanta, which is an incredible stadium, by the way, the Mercedes-Benz Arena, but if you're having an LA team playing in America, then fucking put them in LA where their fans are, and you probably sell a lot more tickets. Ryan said, absolutely love this channel, 11 months. Appreciate you. Well, spread the word, all of you. You're our marketing budget. All of you out there, do let people know about our community, about our channel. Obviously, when the football's back, we'll have our watch-alongs and stuff, which I very much enjoy. But look, you guys are amazing, and to have you guys here with us, I really appreciate your support. Some nights I worry that, you know, there's not a lot to come on and really update everybody on, but we always find a way to have a bit of fun or have a chat or a topic that we debate on, and I always appreciate it. Could be the riots. Those riots are blown out of all proportion by certain parts of American media. It's a very small area, and the word riots, I think I'd say protests personally, but again, we're not getting into politics. We don't scratch that itch here on the channel. We stay out of religion, we stay out of politics. They're very personal things for people, so we leave it aside. Is there any reliable sources about the Isak deal? So I don't think anybody has claimed that the Isak deal is on for happening. But what we have seen today, and I'll take you through them now, mate, is two things. So we've seen Lewis Steele say Newcastle don't want to sell Isak for cheap. Not that they don't want to sell, but don't want to sell him for cheap. It'll have to be a ballpark figure of 130 to 140 million pound. He went on to say, are Liverpool realistically going to pay that in a summer where they signed Florian Wirtz? Hard to see, but I wouldn't completely rule it out. And then we also had Romano say, Alexander Isak has been Liverpool's dream target since day one, but it remains complicated. Nobody's saying it's impossible, and nobody's saying it 100% isn't happening. And that's where I think it certainly piques my interest. Until Liverpool commit or put their cards on the table for Osimhen, Ekitike, or anybody else, it certainly feels as if we're not yet willing to give up on the Isak chase. What's this one? Oh yeah, we've done that one. So again, for those of you who are coming in late and haven't heard our favourite bit of news for the day, full credit to Anfield Sector for posting this. They were given quotes from Kerkez father and said, it's only Liverpool for us and we're not going anywhere else and we won't talk to other clubs. Everything is done between us, personal terms. We just need to sort out some details, but it's basically a done deal. That's his father. So I think we're not going to get a more credible source to tell us that Milos is on the way than his father. And I have to say, as a fan, Daddy Milos, me loves that, sir. Me loves that. That's what I want to hear as a fan. Nobody else, only Liverpool. That's what we want. That's where we're going. Yes, sir. Well played. Eddie, I must be the only one that doesn't want Isak. I don't know what to say to you, Eddie. For me, he's the closest thing to a guarantee. You know, you have to talk about the injuries, and I will always caveat any conversation around Isak by saying the injuries are a concern, especially if he's not there for the big games that you need. So I do completely understand and sympathise with anybody who has injury concerns for Isak, but with regards to the quality of the player, I think it's clear to see how good he is. And again, I look at it and think, I just want Liverpool to have the best centre forward that we can have, and if the club feel they can afford it and all the options are on the table, I'm taking Isak. You know, my number one target has always been Julian Alvarez, but I really just don't think that's feasible. Egyptian King. So Craig, I think we'll end up signing a cheap budget striker for like 25 million. He'll turn out to be a hidden gem. I don't see them spending 100 plus million when they can get him cheaper next season. Thoughts? Well, I did say that for me, if Liverpool can't get the dream, let's say it's Isak, then explore the John Duran idea on loan for a season until you find the one that you're happy to commit a big sum of money to. It also would allow us to have a season where Jayden Danns continues to progress and we see what his fitness is like. Keep Diogo around. Have Wirtz that can play as a false nine. And I think we'd still have options. Diaz could still go in central. Salah could come in central. I would rather see the club do that than, as you say, splurge a load of dough on somebody who is a roll of the dice. Because we've already had the roll of the dice and it didn't work out in Darwin Nunez. So next needs to be bulletproof. We can't afford another mistake through the centre. So that's where my head's at with it. Trey, 2-meter Messi is my realistic choice at striker. 42 million euro, if I'm not mistaken, would be the asking price from Stuttgart. Benjamin said, I think the Isak feeling to me is that Newcastle will sell. There has been no response from them, nor Isak coming out and denying. I don't know, man. I don't know. All I keep saying is there's too much talk about this for it to be a nothing story, if you get me. Clearly, Liverpool's interest is there. The piece from Graham Bailey the other day that said that Arsenal have backed off because they know if he does leave Newcastle, he'd want to go to Liverpool. So all I can say is let's just wait and see how it pans out, because I really don't know. Like, you have as much information as I do on it. I have no idea. That's my point. We used to moan about other players being injured, but when it comes to Isak, people seem to forget that. I think, Eddie, it's because there isn't really many other options out there that are bona fide good enough. Like, Ekitike is a roll of the dice, but, if he's for the club one, fair enough. Osimhen, I just keep thinking there has to be something about him or his entourage or his wage demands or something. Because you look at him, age-wise, right in his peak, won the league previously. I don't know if they won it in Turkey, actually, Galatasaray, but did well over with Napoli. Wasn't great, I remember, from his time in France, if I'm not mistaken. So there's a deal to be done there with a release clause that'll be very easy to trigger. So I don't know, man. I think we're all just looking around and seeing that there isn't exactly a whole heap of top-notch centre forwards out there at the minute. John, thank you, my man. Before I actually read this out, John, just a reminder to our Irish viewers, our last ever live show in Ireland is going to be at Cypress Avenue, Cork on the 8th of August. So if you'd like to come and see us, it is an over-18s event, but you can get your tickets with the QR code on the screen. And again, it will be our last show in Ireland, so if you want to come along and see us, we would appreciate the support. Right, John said, would you be interested in a podcast interview? Sent an email to partnerships. Love you, mate. Throw it into contact instead of partnerships if you can, John, and I'll get back to you straight away. Connor takes care of the partnerships email. I take care of the contact email. So if you can send it to contact@AnfieldAgenda.com, John, I promise you I'll get back to you within 24 hours, my man. And I'm always interested in coming on and having a chat about football, sir. Ryan said, watch Michael Edwards and co. pull a Michael Edwards masterstroke with somebody we haven't even thought of, but honestly, I would take a swap for Osimhen and Nunez, to be honest. Look, I'd feel a lot better about the whole thing if that was the case. If we did do a swap, even with 10 million going with Darwin, I could see the sense of that. I could. It wouldn't be my number one choice, but I can absolutely see a world where I could go, I can understand that. I can understand why Liverpool have done that. But you guys could throw out the exact name, and I just don't know. It's not like the Kerkez, Frimpong, Wirtz situation where I can tell you categorically it is this guy. I haven't got a clue. That's why it's so interesting to me. Same at centre-back. I just don't know. Benjamin said, Mr. Ego Ibrahimovic has said Isak is a lion. Enough said. Can't argue with that. Enough said. Stephen Tonner said, Craig, do you think there could be a stream that doesn't involve Trent? It just seems to get you pissed off. Plus, I think he doesn't deserve time in your stream. I'm very happy not to talk about him, mate. But you know yourself, every stream somebody will ask a question and I have to answer it. But like you, sir, I'm ready to forget about him and move forward. But I think, yeah, I'm with you. I'm right there with you, mate. I have no interest in talking about him because in my head, when I'm speaking, my head's just going rat, 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 rat. And I'm not even joking. Like, that is literally what goes through my head. That and a few more swear words. Jamie said, hope you're well, Craig. Love the channel. Thoughts on Hatto? Think he will be the right signing, can play centre back and left back. Yeah, no debate on that one. If they want to bring in Hatto, I think it would be a very astute signing. It would give us, as you said, an option at left back. But I've always thought that his career will move towards centre back as he gets a bit older. So, yep, we know. Well, look, we know Hiding is now the Ajax coach. We know Arne and his team will know all about Jarell Hatto, and will have brilliant sources for the Bundesliga. So, or excuse me, for the Eredivisie. So, if they want to make that move, I think I remember Romano saying a while back, it won't be an easy deal to get done with Ajax, but certainly they'll know all about him. HJS 50555. Thank you, mate. Appreciate that. What would you rate this window out of 10? Well, it's not done yet, but so far she's heading for a 9 or a 10. Definitely. Wirtz, Frimpong, Kerkez, a striker and a centre back, and you're talking 10 out of 10 window for me, as long as we don't lose somebody we don't want to lose. Like, we lose fringe players that don't think their future is going to get enough minutes, no problem with any of that. Just don't want to be losing a Konate, let's say, as an example. Andrew said, looking like Lucho staying after all. Yes and no. You're very right, Andrew, in what you're saying about the fact that Barcelona, part of it, mate, definitely looks like it's trending towards Nico Williams. But there's still been some stuff about Saudi. And I just hope for Lucho it's all sorted out one way or the other soon, because I don't want to get toxic on him. He's a good lad. We all understood the Barcelona dream of his. But I don't think Liverpool are in any rush to get rid of him either, because it's kind of a good situation for us at the minute. We've got him and Gakpo, two great options on the left side. We know that Diaz is probably being underpaid. I think that's fair to say. So from our perspective, even if he ran down his deal and left at 31 for free, I wonder will Liverpool look at that and think, we've gotten value from that deal. I just didn't want it to get to a point where he was being strung along by Barcelona and maybe he tried to force the matter a little bit and it got toxic on him. I never would want that for him, because he seems like a good fella, like, and their family's already been through a hell of a lot, and I wouldn't want it to go toxic for him. So yeah, I hope maybe now, if it isn't Barca, he'll just come out and go, I'm happy, I want to stay. Who would you prefer to stay at the club, Costas or Robbo? Robbo, probably, for one more year, because I think then he'd be playing for his future, and then it gives Liverpool a year to allow Milos to bed in, and then look at maybe a young bit of cover on the left side coming through the academy or something. But honest answer is, I'm easy about it as long as one of them stays, because I think moving on two of them in the one window is a bit too risky. What else we got? Right, we're going to finish up actually in a minute. I didn't even notice the time. Right, ladies and gents, let's move towards finishing this stream up. Oh, a super chat has come in. So I am going to record a news update, because we've got some stuff around. I'll give you a brief hint on it now. About Victor Osimhen. We've got some stuff about Diaz and a few other bits and pieces that we haven't gone through tonight that I'm going to do the recap video on in the next 20 minutes or so. Yes, you're still live. I thought I'd missed it. Just got back from football wearing a Liverpool shirt with pride. What have I missed? Just about to recap it all, mate, in the news video. But ultimately, the big thing I think you missed tonight is Milos' dad saying it's only Liverpool for us. It's a done deal with regards to personal terms and all. He doesn't want to talk to other clubs, doesn't want to go anywhere else. So that's the big thing. If you could take one thing from the stream tonight, I think it's that bit of news. But I will recap everything in a video in the next few minutes, and appreciate you, Mitchell. Thank you. Right, ladies and gents, I'll see you tomorrow. Much love as always. Appreciate your support. And yeah, have a good one. We'll talk soon. Bye-bye.